if I told you that there were at least 31 reasons to play an instrument? Would you think I had walked into a Baskin Robbins on LSD and started seeing guitars everywhere? You wouldn't be so far off. How many of you have a turn signal in your car? Right? You all have one? When I hear my turn signal, I hear Bob Marley's Three Little Birds. You know, baby, don't worry about a thing. So I hear music. The parallel I'm trying to make is music is everywhere in our lives. So it is my intent to show you what happens to your brain, or inform you what happens to your brain when you play a musical instrument. In 2018, Robert Alvarez, through the MD Anderson of Texas, had three parts of his brain that had cancerous lesions on it. And they, obviously you see him playing guitar there, and while they were doing this, when his guitar playing waned, the doctor backed off, went somewhere else, and as a result, they were able to remove 90%. So the parts of the brain we're going to focus on today are the frontal, the temporal, and lastly, the other minor players in our orchestra, the parietal, the occipital, and the cerebellum. Starting with the frontal lobe, Queensland Health describes the frontal lobe as important for voluntary movement, managing higher level executive functions. These refer to a collection of cognitive skills, including capacity to plan, organize, initiate, self-monitor, and control one's responses to achieve a goal. Creation is the sum of our experiences, and some of the things that you see here allow us, through the creative part of our brain, to express ourselves. So whether it be me strumming my guitar or you painting a painting, no two people are going to play the same way. We can emulate each other, but ultimately, this part of our brain helps us be unique. Grace Law, professor in Toronto and author of Smart String Teacher blog, obviously is showing us here that the voluntary movement, the abstract thinking, and the concentration that goes into playing an instrument all are unique, but something that we all need. It's not just a benefit to us as many schools look at. It is something that is a core essential to each and every one of us. How many of you know what the term RAM is in your computer? Anybody? You do? Kind of? It stands for random access memory, and for me, I define it as data that can be consciously discarded at will, and it could also be subconsciously as well. The Oxford definition of temporal is relating to worldly as opposed to spiritual affairs, secular. Some of the things we also see here could, in a way, be temporal or secular to our brains. Memory is going to be relative to each and every one of us, to our experiences, music, language, behavior, all things that we experience differently. Queensland Health, defines the hearing of the left and the right ear as understanding language and remembering verbal info. The right ear is involved in remembering nonverbal communication. One thing that you will hear musicians say is you listen with your left ear. And I've always listened with my right ear. Sometimes you'll hear me kind of cock my head right. I guess that just comes from some of my right temporal lobe being perhaps a little bit stronger or more tuned to what I'm hearing. Lastly, we're going to get into the dark side of the brain. Again, we didn't step into laser Floyd or anything, promise. With some of the things we've already seen in the brain, a lot of these things would be subconscious. Again, dark side of the brain is something that we don't see. It's alluding to the dark side of the moon, something that never sees the brightness of the sun. So Again, these are all going to work with your frontal and temporal lobes to create your music. All this data, though, can be corrupted, be it by physical abuse, drugs, any sort of abuse, you know, getting your head whacked on a car because somebody hit you from behind at 70 miles an hour. That all can affect this part of your brain, even if it's not directly damaged. Again, these aren't just beneficial to each and every one of you. They're core essential parts of your brain that allow you to think rationally, clearly, and in stressful moments, keep a clear head. Lastly, hopefully I've taught you a little bit about what happens to your brain. We've explored the frontal, temporal, and the dark side of the brain. And in conclusion, from those lobes and the cerebellum, again, it's not just a benefit, it's a core, essential part of your brain. Art saves. Most of you are women here in this class. I know probably none of you listen to heavy metal, but if you want to listen to somebody who has theoretically more hair on her balls than most men, I urge you to seek out, her name is Otep, and her first album was Sabastra, or Art Saves backwards. She's a great artist and poet. Who here has ever figured out their spirit animal? Usually mine comes out as like an owl or wolf. Kind of the same concept. Find your spirit instrument, whether it be a guitar, a bass, a drum, or a singer. Guitarists are superheroes, usually creative, kind of shy in that respect. Bassists are totally shy, they want to be in the background. Drummers are wild and crazy, they live a wild lifestyle. And obviously, singers are difficult to deal with because, look at me, I gotta sing. And in that, I've played all those roles, so I can say, if you find your spirit instrument, can't go wrong. Thank you.